Some of you people really make me rub my fucking head. So, especially the younger folks. They think there's no way war's going to come to America, the new America. Well, we'll just talk about the old America for a minute. How about the colonization of North America and killing off over 100 million, or, well, not 100 million, killing off about 50 to 60 million Indians, because there's still probably at least 40 million left today on their reservations. I would say that was a war. Then there would be the Spanish American War, French and Indian War, all those wars happened here, folks. Then there was the Revolutionary War. I think you all have heard about, because you all claim the Constitution is still in place, and that's when at the end of that, was when you supposedly got that Constitution. Now, we'll jump up to the War of 1812. And there was a bunch of shit in between all that, and probably you could remember the Alamo or something. But then it went into the Civil War not long after the War of 1812 ended. Civil War ended. By that time, you went from a republic to a democracy. They didn't need any more wars to happen right here in the country. Not, what do they call it? Not typical wars, I guess. There's another word for it. I just can't think of it right now. Or what is it? Conventional war. Now, I've made some statements about if there's a war in Russia, that it'll end up here in America. And that hasn't been something shown to me. That's something that I believe in my heart. Whether a war that hit here would be the ending of anything, I don't know. But what you guys don't understand what I was talking about. And this country has already been at war. You've been at war we've been at war, and where I'm at, for almost 2.5 years now. I don't know where you're at. Some places this started long before 2.5 years. Some of you could be at 3 years or more, as far as I know. But this is a war of your mind. It's not a war like any other war. They control your mind with the TV, the radio, the games you play, your phones, and everything else. Not even counting the education, your public education that you got. And then what they do, they tell you, if you want to be, all you have to do in America to be successful is work hard. If you go and get a college education and you work hard, you cannot not be successful in America. And that's true. As long as you're going along with the narrative. Now, see, your guys' problem is the narrative got so ridiculous that they can't even lie about it anymore. And some of you younger folks don't understand that. Some of you didn't have rights that I had 45, 50 years ago. Some of you never had those rights. You couldn't have done what we did back in the 60s and 70s that is allowed to do today. There ain't no way. But you guys still think you're free. That's what kills me. You still think you're free. Well, I guess until you live long enough and you've lost the amount of rights I've lost in 60 years, you won't understand it. Because some of you don't even know about the rights I used to have that have already been taken away from me. Some of you claim you fought for all those rights, and you claim to be heroes for doing so. Why don't I have those rights? You must have lost that battle, huh? That's all I can say, veterans. All you police officers and shit that claim to took that oath, you must have lost those battles, huh? Because I didn't win my rights. I didn't get to keep my rights. Shit. And if you, like I said, there's a war coming, and it's going to hit this land. It might not be Russians. It ain't going, it might be. It could be. I haven't been shown any of this. But war is coming. It's already here. And when I'm talking about war, though, I'm talking about what you guys are thinking. Bodies, shit blowing up, bullets flying. That is coming here. Make no mistake of that. And if you want to know why, because the lack of food, the lack of water, and all these people crammed up in as much as like New York City, 9 million people crammed into one town. People are going to be killing each other for food and water. You can't grow a field of corn or potatoes or something under concrete. Are you going to be able to tear up all your concrete to grow food? No. So what are you going to eat? There's only so many dogs and cats. What are you going to eat? You going to eat cars? You can't eat certain parts of trees if you're that damn hungry. But you better know what to eat. And I'm not talking about the fruit from a tree. What are you going to do? Now, I heard old Brian from High Impact Videos, High Impact, we'll just call it. He said he was on the verge to go live with the bears because of the way society's coming. I'd rather live with bears in this society today. But until I'm pushed to that, I'm fine where I'm at. They've taken it. They've taken everything. I don't own nothing. I don't have banking accounts. I don't have credit cards. I don't have shit. But that's about as free as you can be living in the city. If you have these things, they have control of you. The reason why is they can take all those things from you with a threat. They just look at you and say, oh, you own a house? Well, if you don't do what we say, you no longer own that house. Because you're never going to own that house anyway. You can't. You never paid for it with anything. If you are alive today, you have never been paid with anything other than a promissory note. Which a promissory note, folks, gets you this. You see, you have a handful of masters. Handful. And see, they own everything. Oh, yeah. Some of you good slaves, you get to own a franchise, or you get to own a Walmart or something. But it's still the parent, what do they call it? The parent corporation is the same handful of people. All your gas stations, all your grocery stores, all your small mom and pop shops, all of it is all owned by the same handful of people. The better slave you are, the more you're allowed to run of it. The higher up on the ladder you are, but you're still a slave. This is what I told Brian from High Impact. Take a camera, because he's always saying how the system is corrupted, it's evil, all this shit. And he's fighting it. He ain't going along with none of it. And that's what I told him. Well, let's take a camera and walk around the outside of your house. Show your house. Do you own it? If you do, okay, cool. Show your cars you drive. And do you own them too? Okay, cool. And then walk through your house and show your room where you do all your videos and you own all that stuff. Okay. And all the furniture and all the stuff you and your dog live on with. And let's see how good of a slave you've been. Let's see how good of a slave you've been. He always brags about himself. Always. I guarantee you he won't do that video. I guarantee you. But it's people like that who think they own things, think they have things that nobody can take. I used to think that way, folks. I used to think that exact same way. Until they took it all. Until they took it all. Any of you want to prove you've worked harder than I have? Done more to try to make money than I have? Let's do it. I think I got a lot of paperwork. Where it's at, I'll have to hunt it up. I don't know where it would be. But it could be found. Let's compare. Let's compare education. I fell for all that. I got a college education. I think my transcripts say I got over 160 college credits. Because I did go to college for 3 years. 2 different subjects. And I started in one, switched to the other. But I went for 3 years. That's why it took me 3 years to get a AA degree. I fell for every damn bit of it, folks. I fell for every damn bit of it. I was as dumb as a bag of fucking hammers. But when you tell your kids they can be president, or they can be whatever they want, in this world today, the only way that's going to happen is if they sign a deal with the devil. And if you think I'm kidding you, watch and see. I know some of you people think Trump's marvelous. Well, who do you think paid pharmaceutical companies to come up with all the damn vaccines and all that. How do they give it away for free unless Trump gives them $6.2 trillion? $6.2 trillion. Pfizer, I think, has already made $2.8 billion in 2 years. All the medical fields and shit have all doubled, quadrupled, tripled, whatever. They've all that stood it out. Hell, they're all looking. If you had a $2 million home, they're looking for a $20 million home today. Make no mistake of that. The war is coming. It's already here. The shelves are already emptying out. The war they're claiming in Russia's supposedly going to raise our gas prices. Why are we buying oil from Russia? Why are we buying oil from anybody when we have enough oil around here to supply us all? People, there ain't none of you can answer any of these questions. So what are you doing? I love it when I hear these, and I fell for this too, folks. I fell for this big time. Stockpile your house. Get you a year's worth of food and water and medical supplies. Stockpile it up. I had $50,000 tied up into that shit. But I can tell you this. I had it piled into the back of a trailer, a World War II Bantam Jeep trailer that I could pull behind my Jeep. And I had a Grand Cherokee then. I didn't have an XJ. I had a 06 Grand Cherokee V8 to pull my trailer with. Everything I had, guns, ammo, tents. I had tents. I could sleep 10 people. Air mattresses for everybody. Medical supplies for food, water, gas. I carried an extra 50 gallons of fuel on my trailer. I mounted all the gas cans around the outside of the trailer to keep the inside clear for food and shit. Had them all locked down. I built the fucking brackets and everything with locks on them so nobody could take the fuel out of it. But I was mobile. If you stockpile your house, you're going to do me the biggest favor I could ever ask you for. For when I come along, because you're going to have to leave. You're going to have to leave, and if I come along, or they're going to kill you. If they can't take it all, maybe I'll get some of it as I come through. I won't harm you, though. You'll be gone long before I get there. But maybe there'll be something left for me to use. Because you're only going to be able to carry so much. If you got a damn basement full of shit, it'll take a lot of people and a lot of trucks to haul that shit out of there. So I'm hoping by the time I get there with my Jeep, there's enough there for me to use. Because they will have already killed you long before that. I won't have to. And I wouldn't anyway. I won't ever kill for food other than an animal. Food or anything else. Only an animal I'll kill to eat. Now, if you come at me, want my shit, I'll drop you like a bad habit in a second. And I would expect you would do the same to me if you're a man. So make no mistake about that. I'm just saying, if you stockpile your house, I'm thanking you now. For when I come through there, there's some left for me. You guys have a good night out there. I got off subject, I think. Something about, oh, no, I was still on subject. It was war coming to America, and that's what it's going to be. See, I even surprised myself. You guys have a good night. Love y'all. Till the next one.